In this video, I thought that I would more or less sum up the first day of the Bassmaster Classic. Now, as of recording this, the anglers have not all weighed in yet, but we kind of have been able to watch bass live all day and kind of get a glimpse as to what Ray Roberts, the fishery, how it's fishing, and maybe some anglers to really look out for in this event. So I thought I would try something new. If you guys like this, please let me know down below in the comments. I was just thinking for the working man that's working from 9 to 5 today, hasn't been able to tune into Bass Live, maybe he can just tune into this, 10-minute video or so and at least understand a little bit about what is going on. Now, before we get into kind of the summary of the day, I am running a big sale right now because of the Bassmaster Classic over at the Fin Fishing website. So basically anyone who buys a USA made sun shirt, a duck hat, any of the products that I have is going to get a free mystery lure. I have this big tub here I've been going through. I got all kinds of stuff in here. I mean, I've got Yamamoto Senkos, I've got just all kinds of plastic baits. I've even got like a handful of Chopos that I'm putting in. So a lot of different baits are going in every single package that I'm putting together. Also, I have about 5 reels left that I'm also giving away. Now, these are used fishing reels. I used them for years, was gonna sell them, but decided, you know what, I'm just gonna throw them in some of the packages. So also, anyone who buys a USA made sun shirt or the duck shorts is also going to receive a Buzzer Rocks Bloodstop formula. So tons of stuff going out for free right now until the end of the Bassmaster Classic, which is Sunday. So anyways, I'll leave some links down below in the description. Shopping at Fin Fishing is truly the best way to help support this channel. All right, let's talk a little bit about the Classic so far. And I love watching, I have followed tournament fishing my whole life, but the Classic, man, it is just something special. It's truly the Super Bowl of bass fishing. It is the biggest tournament. And so pretty interesting scenario has already kind of played out in this particular tournament. The practice for the Classic is already kind of crazy because anglers really practice about a week in advance, and then they have one day really close to the event where they can go out. The thing about it though right now is that in Texas, actually in a lot of different states, it has been extremely windy. And directly around Ray Roberts, I mean, it has been 30-mile-an-hour wind, 40-mile-an-hour wind, 50, I mean, very windy. And so the big thing that it has not allowed a lot of these anglers to do is fish a little bit more off the bank, fish a little bit more main lake stuff. That stuff has really been covered up. Now, after watching, today I was doing a lot of video editing for myself, and I was able to kind of keep an ear in, also pay attention to basically the Classic all day long. And there's a couple of things that we're starting to see develop. One, these fish are definitely in a pre-spawn phase. I believe that you are going to see maybe a spawning fish or two caught during this event, but that is not how it's going to be won. There seems to be a couple of main patterns that we're seeing though. One is that a lot of these fish seem like they're starting to push up and push into shallow water. So you actually have a lot of anglers that seem to be fishing around a lot of the areas that have vegetation. It sounds like there's a lot of milfoil, or at least some milfoil in the lake, although it is confined. In some of those areas where those fish are kind of pushing up, staging on some of that grass, you see guys taking advantage of the bite, throwing a bladed jig around, throwing all kinds of baits, but a bladed jig, as always, is a deal. And also what's really interesting, right here at the end of the day, we saw Lee Livesey boat a handful of really big fish. Like, he was struggling all day, boated a bunch of big fish on a bubblegum colored bladed jig. I just did a video last year all about when to throw bubblegum, and in the pre-spawn is one of those times that you want to throw bubblegum. And so obviously he's been taking advantage of it. I mean, literally just caught like 23 or 4 pounds in the last hour or so of the day. So that was really cool to see. You also have some guys, including the guy that's probably going to be leading this event, that are fishing kind of what you would call a staging fish, maybe late winter, early pre-spawn fish. These fish that are kind of more or less suspended up in a lot of these bigger trees, a lot of standing timber on Lake Ray Roberts, and getting ready to move up to spawn. Now, if you noticed, a lot of the fish, for example, that like Trey McKinney caught today, all of these fish, super fat, super duper fat. They were also on the bigger side. Obviously, he could be possibly leading the tournament after day one. But something that I did find that was really interesting is that I do not think that this is happening all over the lake. And I do think that it's pretty specific because fishing in standing timber with jerk baits, with jig head minnows, this time of the year is becoming something that's fairly well known. And there's also anglers in this group. Obviously, these are the best of the best that are fishing the Classic, who I really would have thought excelled fishing this way. And you don't see every angler out there just catching a lot of them. So I'm very interested to see what, as far as the bait that Trey McKinney is actually using, because he pretty much hit it from the camera all day. It does appear to be a jerk bait of some sort. Now, he is sponsored by 6 Sense, so maybe it's a provoke jerk bait. I would imagine that if it was a provoke jerk bait, though, he'd probably be showing it to the camera a lot. So it makes me think that it might be a brand that he is either not associated with, or maybe it's the typical pro fisherman thing. It is a prototype that's typically just a different brand of a jerkbait. So anyways, very interested to see exactly what he's throwing. He seems to really understand that bite a little bit better than most as far as the suspended fish in trees. We saw him win the Lake Fork tournament last year doing this exact same thing. So it'll be very interesting to see how these fish kind of change throughout the next couple of days, because the big thing that's going to happen in the next couple of days, you're not going to have as much wind. You are still going to have some wind, and they're actually going to get some wind from different directions. But today, I believe from looking at the forecast, it was supposed to blow like 17, 18, 20 miles an hour. Over the next couple of days, I don't think it's supposed to get above 10. So that's really going to open the lake up, and I truly believe that you are going to see somebody who probably didn't catch them that well today probably make a big charge at this thing if they figure something out. Maybe they get into some water that has been fairly unfishable over the practice period, even over today, and really it has a lot of untouched fish in it. So I could see someone who has maybe 12, 13, 14 pounds a day who struggled, who might weigh in 30 pounds tomorrow and even more on Sunday. So I think that is going to be a pretty interesting event. We saw Trey McKinney do this last year, where he fished pretty much the same way all tournament long for 4 days and caught them. He had to switch things up a little bit here and there. I'm just interested to see about that suspended tree bite, because it looks like you're going to have a lot of sunny and 75-degree weather over the next couple of days. I'm interested to see, will these fish push up more? You know, there was a lot of guys I saw, like Greg Hackney, that were fishing shallow. I mean, flipping and pitching. Like, he's a guy that has gone to an area where he knows fish are going to be, and he's more or less waiting for them to get there. So it'll be interesting to see if guys that are fishing in that way are going to start excelling a lot over the next couple of days. It's also interesting to see if somebody will stumble upon something that is very untapped. I saw Chris Zaldane, Chris Johnson, Corey Johnson. They were all, you could tell that they were fishing kind of these more or less staging points, a lot of looking like secondary points outside of major spawning pockets. Those types of areas are areas where you could have a flood of bass. If they are moving up and you have weather that's starting to stabilize, you are going to see some fish really start pushing up. So in some of those exact same areas where they may have not caught them today, they may start catching them really, really, really good. So I am just very curious to know how this is all going to go down. There's always some big surprises. They have not even weighed in yet. So by the time you listen to this, they probably will have weighed in. So it'll always be interesting to see some of those big surprises. A couple of big names that weren't doing the best. Lee Livesey was one of those. All day he struggled and then really caught him. Another one was Ben Milliken, has not had the best day, but maybe he turned it around. I didn't pay attention to like the last half hour, so maybe he turned it around here in the last part of the day. But very interesting tournament. Really going to be a pre-spawn event. There may be some big fish caught on big baits, I would imagine, by the end of the week, some like really big baits. So that'll be a really fun deal. So anyways, guys, Let me know if you enjoyed this. If not, also let me know. I just kind of wanted to more or less give the guy who wasn't able to tune into Bass Live just a little bit of an overall what we saw from the day, what we might see over the next coming days. So also don't forget to check out that fin gear for some free lures, maybe a free reel, and some free bloodstop. I will see you guys tomorrow.